Hi everyone, this is Louis Sinibaldi, and I'm here with my MIDI controller called the SiniConE24. E is for encoder, 24 is because it has 24 encoders. If you look at the layout, it's got 8 encoders above on the first row, which is row A. Row B has 8 encoders, and row C has 8 encoders. Underneath the encoders, there's an OLED screen for each single encoder, and there's also 18 LEDs, which are full RGB LEDs around the entire encoder. And below that, you'll find 8 different buttons that will go there. These are not the final buttons we selected. These are just for the prototype. We have much better buttons coming up, and I can't wait to show you guys. So before I get started showing you the unit working with CSI and Reaper, I just want to give a huge thanks to Jeff, the creator of CSI. He's been gracious. He's been giving me wisdom and helping me be able to have this unit work with CSI and Reaper. And also I wanted to give a huge thanks to FunkyBot, who spent some time creating a zone file for this first unit. The zone file, so far, it's supposed to have the first bottom 8 encoders control the track volumes, and then the top 7 encoders are going to control the sense. The 8th encoder is supposed to control the last touch focus effects parameter. And the middle encoders, we're still working on that. And some things are working, some things are not, but this is just the first attempt, so we'll be able to fix all these issues shortly. Also, the screens, as you can tell, they're just cycling through all the available screens. They're not talking to CSI just yet. Hopefully by the end of this week. Today is December 15th, so hopefully by the end of the week we'll be able to have the screen speak to CSI and Reaper and actually get information from them. So let's start up Reaper to show you what it can do so far. Another thing you'll notice is the encoders are no longer clicking, so they're silent, they're smooth. A lot of people that saw my previous video were asking for that, so obviously it made sense, so we made the change. So anyway, here we are. This is a test project. There's nothing on it, just tracks. The first track is sending to track 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the third track has some effects. Other than that, it's a clean project. But if I start moving the encoder on the bottom row, which is row C as in Charlie, you'll start seeing the volumes being affected, and I can go down all the encoders on the bottom and show you that it's affecting the volumes all the way to track 8. Also, if I press the encoders, it will solo that track. All the way to track 8. If I were to, these last 2 buttons are banking, so banking right, banking left. So if I were to bank right, then it's not going to change the selected track and move it over to 8 tracks later, but it is going to change what these encoders are affecting. So now I can go from track 16 to all the way down to track 9, and I hope you can see that the volume on those tracks are being changed. So now I can also again solo these tracks based on these buttons and where they're selected. Now I can go back to banking to the left, and now I'm back to track 1 to from track 1 to track 8. Okay, so that's kind of working well. These first 4 buttons right now, I have them as Control, Alt, Shift, and Option. I might get rid of Option. It might be too many modifiers, and it might be better to use this button on something else. But in the zone file, we'll be able to create, use these modifiers to, for example, mute a track by holding down the Alt and then pressing down. So let's go to track 1, which is the only one that has some sense. And first I'm selecting it. Then I'm clicking on the sends, and just to test and see if this works. So the volume for track 1 is still down here, and you can see it being affected up there. And the first encoder on row A is affecting the first send volume, which is the way it's supposed to do it. Now here's where I can't figure out exactly what happened, but the second encoder should be affecting the second send, but it's still affecting the first send. So we need to look at that. It could be a CSI issue, or it could be a zone file issue. The third encoder is doing the same thing, as so is the fourth. And encoder 5 through 8 is not doing anything, or not doing anything. So there you have that aspect of it. We still need to find out what's going on. The other thing we can do is, for example, if I click on track 3, and if I use the Alt lock, sorry, no, Alt lock, yeah, Alt button, it should be, there you go. It's Alt lock actually. I'm not sure why it wasn't working before, but this brings up the FX menu, and Alt lock will toggle it back again. Another thing that should be working, it's when I click on a parameter and an FX, this last encoder of the first row, row A, is able to change it. If we were to go to a different one, click on a parameter, and you can control it with this encoder. Click on a different parameter, and you can control it. Click on another parameter, and you can control that as well. So that's very handy to have. And we'll be trying to get more things working. Right now, the only other thing that is working is the play button, pause, play, and when I hold down Control, play will stop, Alt play will record, and there's no tracks that are armed, so it wasn't recording anything. But that's where we are right now. Hopefully we'll have, by the end of the week, all the screens talking to CSI, and we'll have figured out why these send volumes are not working properly. But thank you for watching. Thank you for your interest, and happy holidays, and everyone stay safe. Have a good day.